Hi, my name is Brandon, and I'm an alcoholic and addict in recovery. And today I want to talk about fear of change. Fear of change is a very important force to be reckoned with when we enter into recovery. Many of us had a lot of fear of change in our addiction. And I want to talk about why fear of change is the opposite of faith in a process. So in my addiction, I spent a lot of time being afraid of things changing, even though I wanted them to be different. How dumb is that? It doesn't make any sense, but that's what addiction is like. It's full of all these paradoxes that only make sense to those of us who have been there. And one of the biggest paradoxes is that I'm scared of the change that I want to make. I'm scared of the change that I actually want to happen. I spent so much time in my addiction wanting desperately to get sober, but scared to death to do it. I wanted desperately not to be such a jerk to people, but I was scared to start treating people nicer because I was afraid of what that would mean for the image that I had of myself and the way people would treat me. The biggest reason I'm afraid of change is that I am attached to the illusion that I'm in control of things. So when I keep things the way they are, that gives me this illusion that I'm in control. And if I can get things the way that I want them and get them to stay that way, then that makes me feel like I'm in control. And in my addiction, I would do this even if it meant that I couldn't be the person that I actually wanted to be. And that's why I loved alcohol and drugs so much. They actually helped me control the way I perceived the world and the way I felt. So in my addict mind, it's better to feel like I'm in control with alcohol and drugs and spiral into depression and anxiety and destroy my life and the life of those around me than to give up this illusory control that I think I have. That's what makes me afraid of change. So in recovery, I've had to learn to flip the script. I've had to learn to stop trying to control things and start trying to influence them. And here's what I mean by that. It's a subtle difference, and here's what I mean. Controlling things is me trying to get the world to do what I want it to do. Influencing things is me trying to do the right thing and watching how that changes both me and the world around me. Control is about ownership. It's about making things do what I want them to do. It's about making them mine, basically. So control is about ownership. Influence is about partnership. Influence is about how I work with the things around me. Control is about conflict. Anytime I'm trying to get in control of things, I'm butting heads against them. Influence is about harmony. Influence is about working with everything in harmony. And control is about fear, and influence is about faith. And in particular, it's about the faith that if I follow a particular process in what I'm doing, things will turn out the way they're supposed to turn out. Spiritual programs like the 12 Steps, Refuge Recovery, or the spiritual ways of life that are taught by religions around the world, these are meant to teach us a process for living so we can stop worrying about control and start living a life of influence. When I went to residential treatment, I was terrified of all the changes that would happen in my life. But I was told from the beginning, have faith in the process. And the more I explored that idea, the more I realized that faith in the process was the opposite of fear of change. Now, I'm still learning to embrace change in my life, but I'm way more open to it than I used to be. And these days, when I feel that fear of change start to creep up, I just have to ask myself, what's the right thing to do? I usually know the answer. It's usually intuitive, especially after I've gone through the 12 steps and I've worked with people and I've practiced this for a while. Usually I know what the right thing to do is. And if I don't, I've got people I can call who can help me figure it out. And what I found is this. Whenever I thought I was in control in the past, I was wrong. I'm not in control now either. The way I see it in this universe, there's no such thing as control. And there doesn't need to be. There's just influence and process. And it works like this. My spiritual program of recovery teaches me the process for doing the right thing. If I do the right thing, there's no need to fear change, and instead I can simply have faith in the process and relax as I watch life unfold in all its amazing patterns and connectivity around me. That's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow with more.